Hi everyone. Today Salesforce Integration Training Day 3. Let's see what are we going to learn today. We'll quickly go through the previous session overview and we'll talk. Sorry, this is not updated. Today we will talk about the JSON class deserialization. So last class we have seen how to do the serialization. Yesterday we have seen 4 methods. We have seen the 4 methods. JSON.serialize. What are the things we have seen yesterday?
JSON.serialization and object to serialize, and second one is JSON.serialization object to serialize and suppress the apex object nulls, and third one is JSON.serialize a pretty object to serialize, and next one is JSON.serialization pretty, and it comes two parameters like object to serialize and suppress the apex objects.
Right. So we have seen yesterday. We have seen yesterday 4 methods in the JSON class. We started with the JSON class. It's a JSON class. In the JSON class, we have seen serialize. And in the serialize, we can just pass the one parameter, which is object to serialize. And then we have seen the serialize object to serialize, comma. We have to pass the suppress apex object null. This is the second method. And then we have seen the serialize pretty, where I need to pass the object to serialize. And similarly, we have a serialize pretty, where we can pass the two parameters. One is the object to serialize, comma, suppress apex object to null. So these are the 4 methods we have seen. These all are in the JSON class. These all are in JSON class. JSON class. Now, today we are going to focus on deserialization. We are going to focus on deserialize. Now, what is the deserialize? Now, for example, if somebody has sent a message to the Salesforce, somebody has like another system sending some format to Salesforce. So this is the format where we are receiving some JSON structure, we are receiving to the Salesforce. So whenever we receive this kind of a message from the third-party system, so what we have to do, we have to take this message from the third-party system, then we need to convert that into the, we need to deserialize this entire data and then insert the data into the Salesforce. Because directly JSON data I cannot insert into the Salesforce. Directly the JSON data I cannot insert. For example, this is to create an account. This is to create an account. Directly I cannot insert here in order to create an account. What do I need to do? I need to take this message. What are the messages that third party is sending? Take that message and deserialize it. Deserialize it so that Salesforce can understand what is the data that we are sending to the Salesforce. So deserialize it and then we will convert into the Apex language. Convert into the Apex language. Once it is converted into the Apex language, now Apex can tell the Salesforce like what needs to be done, like create an account. So this everything we have to do. In order to do this process, whenever we receive a certain message from third-party system, how can we deserialize? So basically, deserialize is nothing but converting the data from JSON to Apex format. Converting the data from JSON format to the Apex format so that Salesforce can understand what is the data that we have received from third-party system and what should we do with that data, right? So deserialize is nothing but converting the data from JSON to Apex format. Now, yesterday we have started the JSON class and JSON generator We have yet to start the JSONGenerator class, JSON parser class, JSON token enum. So in the JSON class, right now we are seeing the JSON class deserialization. Now in the JSON class deserialization, in order to do this deserialization, what are the predefined methods that are exist within the system? What are the predefined methods that are exist in the system? Now the first one is the predefined method is called deserialize. Predefined method is called deserialize. That means it has a predefined method JSON.deserialize. In the deserialize, there are two parameters are there. JSON string, comma, apex type. JSON string is nothing but we need to pass a JSON format to the here. What is the string that we wanted to convert? So that format we need to pass it in the first parameter. Now the second parameter, what is the second parameter? Second parameter is basically type of object. This is type of object. Which type of object do you wanted to convert? There are multiple objects are there. Multiple objects are there. Which type of object you wanted to convert this JSON string to the method? That means whenever you are doing the deserializing for this particular JSON format, whenever you are doing the deserialize, what type of apex, that means what type of a object that this method need to convert into the deserialization format. So deserialize is basically this is the first one, and the second one is deserialize strict. Deserialize strict. This is the second method, which is a predefined method. Deserialize strict. So deserialize strict is having a two parameters, same JSON string and apex type. And the third one is called deserialize untyped. Deserialized untyped JSON string. Now the first one is deserialize is nothing but deserialize the specified JSON string. Whatever the JSON string we are specifying here, that specified JSON string to the apex object. You need to mention here the apex object of the specified type. Now what is the apex type here? Apex type is nothing but type of the object that method creates after deserializing the JSON content. For example, you wanted to create an account record. Then you need to say here object is account.class. You need to say here object is account, apex type is account.class. If it is a you wanted to convert into the contact, then you need to say contact.class. For example, it's not an object. You just need to convert that into the integer. Then you use integer.class. Right? Apex type has to be the object name. Whatever the object name is there, that object name you need to specify it. That object name you need to specify it. Whether it is a account, this JSON string you wanted to convert into the account, then specify here account.class. If you want to convert into the contact, then specify contact.class. If you want to convert in an integer format or a string format, decimal format, any data type, if you wanted to convert that particular data type dot class, you need to specify dot class, so that while deserializing it, it will make sure that whenever it is deserializing the same object, it is going to deserialize and creates the method there, right? So here we have a deserialized JSON string, comma, apex type. That is the first method. And the next one is second method. Second method is deserialize strict JSON string apex type. Deserialize strict is also deserializing the specified JSON string into the apex object of the specified type. This is also deserializing it. But there is a slightly different between the first one and a second one. This is a deserialized. This is a deserialized strict. So we will see with the example, but there is a slightly different between these two. And the next one is deserialized untyped. Deserialize is untyped. Now here only one parameter is there. It does not have a apex type. There is no parameter called apex type. So basically whenever deserialize untyped means what it does is deserializes the specified JSON string into the collection of primitive data type. For example, collection. it might convert into the map collection, which is a primitive data type. Primitive data type means string, integer, whatever the object that is there, it is a primitive data type, right? So it is basically the return type of this is a collection. Deserialized untyped. Untyped is basically it will convert into the collection of primitive data type. It will not convert into the Apex object. Deserialized untyped is it will not convert into the Apex object. It will convert into the collection of primitive data type. Collection of primitive data type. There is a slight differences between this deserialized and deserialized strict, and how the deserialized untyped is going to use. Let's see that. So we'll see one example, then you can understand. Now let's go for it. Let me open the developer console. Now in the developer console, let's close all of this. Now, the example which I have given. So the first example. So here we have to send a JSON. That means I need to build a JSON. Now, in our case, we are not going to receive any JSON format from the third-party system. For practicing it, what I'll be doing is I'll be building this JSON structure. This JSON structure. Assume that this JSON structure is coming from third-party system. Now, how can I build that JSON structure? JSON structure data type is always string. So let's say that I wanted to build the customer details. JSON customer details. Let's say J customer equal to, I wanted to build it, the JSON structure. In order to build the JSON structure, I need to use the curly braces. Within the curly braces, we have a key and value. So like this, I'll be mentioning the 4 values. Now here, the first one is name. Name is the key. Let's say that customer name is, let's assume that customer name, let me pick it from the participants. Ajay. Let's take name is Ajay, right? And then here, name, phone number on the customer, we have on the account, we have a phone number. Phone number is some phone number, and then fax. Fax is some number I'm giving it. So let's suppose I'm passing the 3 information: name, phone, fax. Name, phone, fax. Now this is the JSON structure. Now I'm receiving this JSON structure. Whenever I receive a JSON structure, what I need to do is first I need to deserialize this data. In order to deserialize that data, what I'll be using is JSON dot, we have a deserialize, the first one. I'm going to use the deserialize. Now here JSON string is whatever the JSON format is there, that JSON format I need to pass it here. Now the next one is system.apex type. That means type of a object name. So in this case, I wanted to pass the object is account. Account.class. Account.class. So what I'm doing, I'm deserializing it. And while doing the deserialization, I'm passing the customer details, and then I have a second parameter which is going to specify the apex type. Now here apex type is account. Now after converting this, after doing the deserialization, now I wanted to store this data into the account. If I say account ACC equal to JSON.deserialize, JSON.deserialize. Now here, first parameter is JSON format, and then second parameter is account.class. Now what will happen? What is the output of this, and whether will it store it in the account or not? Let's highlight this, click on a execute highlighted. Now what it is saying that illegal assignment from object to account. Illegal assignment from the object to account. The reason is the output of the JSON.deserialized output is always in the return type is JSON. JSON.deserialized return type is object. Return type is object. Return type is object. Now what we are doing is, whatever the return type of object is there, this object I am trying to push it into the account object, account data type, account data type. So directly object cannot be stored. So first I need to convert it. First I need to convert this into the account. Take that object, convert into the account, right? Now here I have given in the single format because string is always in the single quotation. String is always in the quotation. Now if I give like this, will it accept? It will not accept. Actually, this is the JSON format. This is JSON format. Now whenever I receive a JSON format, I'll receive it in the string format. No, I cannot set like this. Execute the highlighted one. It says that it cannot be identified. It's an error. Basically, that entire JSON structure I'm putting into the single code, which is converted as a string, which is converted as a string. Now, here the second line is JSON.deserialize. JSON.deserialize. The JSON.deserialize, whatever output I'm getting it. So basically output I'm getting it as a object. I'm getting the return type as a object. This object I'm trying to store it into the account. I'm trying to store it into the account. Directly I cannot save it into the account. What I need to do is I need to convert it. I need to convert the object. In the JSON, whenever you wanted to convert string to integer, integer to string, what you will do? For example, you have an integer here. You have a integer A equal to 10. Now you wanted to store that data into the string B equal to, what you will do in order to convert the integer to string, you will say here string, and then you will pass the whatever the value is there. So this value is A. Now this A is an integer. Now convert that integer to string and store it into the string B. Similarly, I am also doing the same thing. Whatever the output of this JSON.deserialize is, their return type is a object. Directly object cannot be stored into the account. So for that, I need to first convert this object to the account. First, I need to convert that into the object, then I can store that into the account. Now let me print this now, system.debug. In the system.debug, I'll say here account. I'll say here account, and then what are the, after converting the JSON format to the Apex format, then I'm printing the value here. Then I'm printing the value. Let's go ahead and print the value. Click on it, execute. Now debug. It says that account, phone, this, fax, this, name is this. Now let me show you right now. Now I do not have a Ajay here. Ajay account is not there. So what I'll do is, this is the input which I'm receiving from the third-party system. Now I'm doing the deserialize here. After doing the deserialize, I'm storing it to the account. Now what I'll do is, I'll insert the account. Insert the account, right? Because the output is phone equal to this, fax equal to this, name equal to this. So exactly whatever my API names are there in the account, that API name and what are the JSON structure is there, which is key value is the same. Key is same. Key is similar to the API name of the account object. Click on it, execute. Now, once it is executed, let me refresh this account here. Refresh the account. Now, after refreshing the account, now here is the Ajay which is created. Ajay is created. Now, when it is created today, right now it is created. Let me show you the time. Now here created date is 5:25, 7:25 a.m. Right? So what are the 7:25 a.m. is nothing but a US or US time zone. Right? So here 5:25, 2023. So early morning it is created. Just now it is created. Just now it is created. Now that's how we do in the real time. This is what we receive it from the third-party system, and I'll convert that JSON to the Apex format by converting into the whatever the format you wanted it. You'll convert it, then you will be able to insert. This is how we use the deserialize. Right? This is a simple format. Whatever we have seen, whatever we are so far we have seen or going to see right now, it's a simple format. These all are the simple JSON scripts, simple JSON scripts. So I'm using the JSON class here. Within the class, another one which I'm using here is deserialize. Deserialize. So here I have used the deserialize. Deserialize where the parameters are. First one is I need to use the JavaScript, the JSON format. Basically, whatever the JSON format is there, that JSON format I'll be passing that as a first parameter. So JSON string. And the second parameter is whatever the system dot apex type. Apex type. Here the apex type is nothing but type of a object we need to pass it. Type of object we need to pass it. This is the first one. This is the first one. First predefined method. By using this predefined method, what we can do is we can deserialize the provided JSON string, specified JSON format into the Apex format directly without any modification. Without any modification. Now, there are some complex JSON structures out there. When I say complex, now let me copy this here. Now here, this is a customer two, let's assume. Now, along with this data, I'll be having a few more data here. Let's say I'm going to get the first name colon. Let's say the first name of it. Let's give here name is a Dell. And or let's give a different name here. Let's take a PWC. And the first name is Ajay, right? And then last name, I'll give the last name, colon. Let's say Salesforce. And then comma email. I'll give some email ID here, some scar ID @gmail.com. Right, this is the structure. Now, if you observe this structure, I have a name, phone, fax, first name, last name, email. Right, first name, last name, email. Now, if I do the same thing, whatever I did in the above, I'll do the same thing. I'll do the same thing. Now here account deserialize jcustomer2 and account dot class.
No, excuse me, I missed here. Like, what was that parameter account dot class?
Account dot class is a second parameter. Second parameter. Now let me go back this. So here Apex type. The second parameter is a Apex type. What is this Apex type? Is type of a object that you wanted to convert it. So usually the type of object will be, your type of object will be if you want to convert, right? So you are specifying within the deserialize, what are this JSON format is there? It's supposed to use the Apex type as an account. So you cannot simply specify account, you need to specify account dot class. That means it will go to that particular class of the account. In case if you wanted to convert into the contact, so then you have to say contact.class. So it will go to that particular class. For example, it's not a object. It's not a type of object. It is a, maybe you are thinking you wanted to convert into the integer. So specify here integer.class or a string.class. Basically, Apex type is type of object, that is, which are the method that creates to deserialize it. Now, while doing the deserialization, it will consider internally, Salesforce will consider internally which are the class that it should go, which class that it should go, and execute it.
So that could be of any type. I mean, any data type.
Any data type. Usually we use it as a object type, or it could be any integer or anything you can use it. If you have a decimal, you can use a decimal dot class.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Now I have some complex scenario here, customer 2, where I have a JSON format. It says a name equal to PWC, phone number equal to this is, fax equal to some number is there. Then I have a first name, last name, email, first name, last name, email. And what I'll do is I'll try to insert this record. And what will happen if I try to insert this record? Will it create all the data? Will it take all the data or not? Will it take all the data or not? Let's see that. So let me print here. After inserting it, let me print the value here, ACC2. After inserting, let's print here. Now let me execute this one. Click on execute highlighted. Click on execute highlighted. Now debug. What happened? It is taken phone, ID, fax, name. But what about the first name? What about the last name? What about the email? Because these API names are not available in the account. These API names are available in the contact. That means what happened to in this JSON, though I have did a insert here, it did not take entire information. Did it take entire information? It took the name, it took the phone number, it took the fax. It did not take the first name, last name, email, because these fields are not available in the account. Where are these fields? These fields are available in the contact. That means here, this JSON structure says that it is having a combination of data. Till here, it's a account data. From here, it's a contact data. So basically in the JSON format, I have a two type of information. One, I have a account data. Another one, I have a contact data. Another one, I have a contact data. So I need to create these two. Now, how can I convert this? How can I take that? So I just have a JSON.deserialize. I'm specifying here account.class. So that's the reason it is taking the what are the fields are needed for the account creation, and which is equal to the account API name. So it will go and check this account API, what are the API is there. So it is going to check in this class, and based on the class, whatever the fields are needed, those fields it will take and create the account. Those fields it will take and it will create the account. Right. So, but what should happen to the contact? What should happen to the contact? Do I need to take one more like a JSON.deserialize JCustomer2 dot comma contact dot class? Maybe you can take that. Now let's go ahead and see that. So that means you have to use here customer contact dot class, and here let's say contact. Right. So here I'll say here instead of account, I'm converting into the contact, and this is a contact details. Let's see this. What will happen to this? Now here I'll create a PWC1. Now click on this, click on a highlighted one, execute it. Now it created the contact with the phone, first name, last name, everything it is created. That means here, the data here, you know the data, which one is a contact and which one is a account. You know the data. So that's the reason you are able to identify this is the contact and this is the account, right? So you are able to identify. So that's the reason you have specified here contact. But when we are writing the logic, sometimes I might receive a contact details, I might receive a lead details, right? So like that, it might receive it. Now, every time I cannot change this. Every time I cannot change this. So basically what I need to do is, instead of executing like 2 times of this, like first time I'm creating the account. So what it does, first time when I click on this JSON, deserialize JSON customer to account.class, it is going to verify in this class, do I have a name? Yes, there is a name. Do I have this name? Yes, there is a name. Do I have a this field? Yes, there is. Do I have this field? No, it does not have. Do I have this field? It is not there. So like this, it is going to verify whatever the fields are available in this class, it is going to consider only that fields. Now contact also, it is going to check each and every one. Contact, do I have a this field? No. In this class, do I have a this field? No. In this class, do I have this field? No. In this class, do I have a this class? Yes. In this class, do I have a last name? Yes. In this class, do I have a email? Yes. So it will compare and it will get the data and it will create the, based on that, it will create the details. Now this is fine. But instead of doing this, what I can do is I can use another predefined method. I can use another predefined method. Let me take this again. Now, same JSON script, JSON format I'm using it. Now here I'm converting into the, instead of converting here, what I'll do is I'll use a different predefined method. We have a different predefined method which is called JSON.deserialized untyped. Deserialized untyped. Now here deserialized untyped is, it is expecting only the first parameter. It does not say that provide me the class, provide me the apex type. It does not say that. It does not say that. So it is basically, it is just asking me the, what is the JSON script? What is the JSON format that you wanted to convert into the collection, It does not even say apex. It does not even say apex. What is this? Deserialize the specified JSON string into the collection of primitive data type. So I'll take this deserialized untyped. Now, what is the return type of this? The return type of this will be object. Now, I wanted to store this data into the map. I know this is a object. So I can store it into the string. Here, string. Let's say here string. Let's say string of JSON 1 equal to, I'll convert into the string and I can store it. This example which we have already seen. But let's assume that in this, I wanted to convert whatever the deserialized untyped is there. Usually we will convert into the map object. Map is a collection. So usually whatever the output of this deserialized untyped is there, that we will usually collect it into the, we will put it into the map collection. So let's take here map of string comma object. Now here, this is a JSON 1, or let's say that this is the ACC 3, account 3. Now, here converting it, I can take it as a map of string comma object. Now you might ask here, in the map, I have a key value. can I take instead of an object, can I take a string here? Can I take a string? Or can I take an integer? Can I take any other? Now let me show you this. What will happen if you take any value here, what will happen? Click on execute. Highlighted one executed. Now what it is saying that invalid conversion run type map dot string comma any to string dot object. So basically you are getting the output of map of string comma any, map of string comma any, that you are trying to place it into the string comma string, which is a invalid conversion from run type. So basically you cannot store it into the string comma integer, string comma decimal. You cannot store it. The key has to be string and the value has to be object. Value has to be object. So string comma object. Key has to be string and value has to be object. So then only it is going to give you the output. Let me execute it again. Now here we are not printing anything. So this is how it gets executed. Now it is executed perfectly fine. Right, so now I have a data which is converted into the map collection and it is storing into the ACC3. Now let me print here ACC3. It's not actually ACC3. I can say it is a, let's say here object details, or let's say OB. Right, so here I'm going to print object details. Now this is a OB. This is OB. Now highlight this part and click on executed. Click on execute. Object details are, it is taking everything: email, fax, first number, last name, first name, last name, phone number, whatever is containing in the JSON format, all the fields are coming into this map collection. All the fields are coming into the map collection. Now, after storing the entire data into the map collection, so after converting the JSON format to the map collection, now map collection has entire information that where the JSON is containing it. Whatever the JSON format key value is there, all the details are stored in the collection. All the details are stored in the collection. Now what I can do is, whatever this OB is there, this OB is printing the details of key equal to value, key equal to value, key equal to value, key equal to value, key equal to value. So what I'll do is, in the map, I'll take a key set separately, value set separately. That means from this map, this is normal apex command, whatever I'm going to write it, ob dot key set, where I am separating the key sets. Similarly, I'm going to separate the values. So ob dot values. So this is object details keys. And this is object details values. I'm separating it everything. Now highlight this, execute it. Now, normal object details are key equal to value, it is printing. Here email is the key, samskarit@gmail.com is a value. Now, if you look at here, all the keys are separated into one and all the values are separated into one. Now, usually in the map collection, if I wanted to get a specific key value, for example, if I wanted to get the name of value, so what I'll do here, I'll say here ob dot get, I wanted to get the specific key value. What it will print here? It will print the system.debug. It will print the object, not the object. It is basically, here it is going to print the key. is name, and here value is, it is going to print the value. Now let me execute this, execute the highlighted one. Now it says key is a name and value is a PWC1. Name, this is the name and this is the PWC1. So like that, I'm going to get it. So what I'll do is, as everything, all the data is in the map, now slowly I can do one thing. So let me go ahead and now string name. So name is a string. So I'll take name equal to ACC3 dot get OB dot get name. Now I'm getting the value of this. Here we are getting the value. So whatever the value is there, I'm assigning to the NM. I'm assigning to the NM. Now will it be assigned to NM or is it going to throw an error? Let's click on execute highlighted one. It says that illegal assignment from the object to string. That means whatever the output is there, ob.get of this particular key, the return type is a object. Return type is object. Return type is object. Now you cannot store the object into the string. So what you need to do is you need to convert this. So string of ob.getName. Now I can be able to convert this and store the details. Similarly, I will take phone fax. So this is the phone. Let's say here it is a phone. And here it is a fax. I'll take it as a fax. And similarly, we have a first name, last name, email. So I'll copy this all three. This is the first name. And then we have a last name. And then finally, we have an email. Email is stored in the email. And last name is stored in the LN. First name is stored in the FN. Now I'm dividing each value. So each value I'm storing into the each string. Each value I'm storing into the each string. Right? So now what I'll do is I'll go ahead and initialize the account. That means I'll create a object ACC equal to new account. New account ACC.name equal to NM. ACC.phone. Phone equal to phone, and then ACC.fax. Fax equal to FX. Similarly, the contact details. I'll take the contact details. Contact also I'll initialize it. Contact equal to CON equal to new contact. I'm initializing the new contact here. Now CON dot last name. Last name will be stored in the LN, and contact dot first name equal to FN, and contact dot email equal to email. Now I'll insert this contact here, insert the account here. Insert the contact here. Right? So this is how we divide it. This is how we divide and we will insert the data. What I'm doing here, I'm taking the details of JSON. Whatever the JSON data I'm getting it, that JSON data I'm taking it from the third-party system. That JSON data I'm converting into the collection of primitive data type. Collection of primitive data type, I'm converting it by using the deserialize untyped. Now, whatever I have converted it, now that converted data I'm printing here. From that, I'm going to get each value. Now, key never changes. Value is is always changes, but once you specify the key, because before third party sending the details to you, you will be saying that send me only this keys because we will be using this keys. So that means before implementing a integration, between Salesforce and the third party system, there is a conversation which will happen. What kind of a JSON structure are we going to implement it? Is this JSON structure approved by the third party system and from the Salesforce system? Because both parties, both the systems should be approved it. If any of the system says that this key does not work for me, then they are going to change the key. So key will be always standard. Key never changes. Key never changes. Values, every time values will be changed, but key is the same. Key is the same. Now, you always receive a name, phone, fax, first name, last name, email. These keys are never changes. Only the values are changes. Now you get all the details and then you will insert the details. Now let's highlight this. Click on a highlighted and execute the highlighted data. Now let's go ahead and check here account. Now you should be seeing the Agile PWC2, right? So there is a account is created PWC2. And then also in the contact, it will be created Agile 11, Salesforce 11, right? So Agile 11, Salesforce 11, the one which we have created right now. Agile 11, Salesforce 11, the one which we have created right now. So this is how we use the deserialize untyped. Any questions on this? Anybody who is not clear on the deserialize untyped? Deserialize untyped is the parameter expect the JSON format and you need to convert into the collection of a primitive data type. From there, you need to get the each key value and store it into the string. And then those strings you need to assign to the respective account field. Then you need to insert the data. This is how we use the deserialize untyped. Deserialize untyped. If you have a simple like this, right? If you have a simple like this, we use a JSON.deserialize untyped. But if you have a more complex JSON format, we have a separate classes which is called as a JSON parser. In order to deserialize it, you will use the JSON parser class. So if you are using the JSON deserialized, JSON class dot deserialize untype, this is how we do it in the real time. This is how we do it in the real time. This is within the JSON class. But if you have a very complex JSON structure, this does not work. JSON classes are used only for the simple or a not more complex JSON format. If you have a very simple, whereas it is having a two object details, like a very simple straightforward, then you can go for a JSON class. If you have a complicated JSON structure, then you need to use the JSON parser. JSON parser class, we need to use it. And the next one is a deserialize strict. Deserialize strict is also similar to the deserialize. So it is also converting the JSON formatted string to the Apex object. But there is no much difference here. I'll show you that. Here we did a deserialize. Let's take here we did a deserialize, right? Now, for example, instead of a deserialize, what I'll do is I'll take it as a deserialize strict. Instead of a serialize, I'll just take it as a deserialize strict. Click on a highlighted one, execute it. It says that no such column first name as object account type. Now, if you say strict is nothing but whatever the key values are there, everything it is going to verify it. Everything, if you say strict is nothing but whatever you provide me in the JSON, whatever you provide me in the JSON, in case if this key is does not exist in the class, for example, here first name is does not exist in the class. Now immediately I'll throw it error. I'll not process. I'll not process. I'll not process. It's a very strict command. Now, whenever you say without a strict, that means whatever is available in this class, only take those fields. Only take those fields. Whenever you say strict means even single field, single key is does not match in the account class, it will not process. It will not process. It is a very strict in order to process the JSON. That is the difference between the deserialized and deserialized strict. Now we have seen the first one, and the next one is all deserialized strict. Deserialized strict is nothing but it is going to check each and every field, each and every key in the apex type. That means if any of the field, if any of key is does not available or does not present in the apex type, then it is going to throw an error. It will not process. And the next one is deserialize untyped. The next one is deserialize untyped. Deserialize untyped. And in this untyped, it is going to expect only one parameter, which is a JSON string. Now, what it does, it is basically convert the JSON format to the collection that has collection of primitive data type. Collection of primitive data type. Usually it will convert into the map of string comma object. You cannot take map comma string, map of string comma integer. You cannot take. You always have to take the map of string comma object. Key has to be string, value has to be object in the map. These three are deserialized in the JSON class. These are the main method, predefined method, which we use it in the real time. Next one, we will move it on to the JSONGenerator class. JSONGenerator class. In the JSONGenerator class, what is this JSONGenerator class? JSONGenerator class is used for whenever we are sending the data to the third party. This is for sending. JSONGenerator is similar to the sending. It's not for receiving. Whenever I'm sending the data from Salesforce, this is the Salesforce. From the Salesforce, whenever I'm sending to the another third party system. Now that time I need to do the serialization. I need to do the serialization. Now you might think that I already have a serialize. I already have a serialize. What is the purpose of need? What is the purpose of using the JSON generator? Now let me give you the real-time example here. So usually JSON generator is used to serialize the complex logic. So it contains the methods used to serialize the object into the JSON content using the standard JSON encoding. Now let me give one example here. Now let me take this. Now we are starting the JSON generator here. JSON generator class. Now, before starting the JSON generator, so as it is basically JSON generator is used to serialize the complex logic. Serialize the complex logic. Now, what is that complex logic? What is that complex logic? Let's see that. So let's assume that I am querying the list of accounts. I'll store it into the ACC list equal to, let's say that I'm querying here select ID comma select name, comma, phone, comma, industry. Now these three fields I'm querying it from account. From account, we are querying it. Now, whenever I query the data, now this data, I need to pass it to the third-party system. In order to pass this data, what I'll be using it, I'll use a normal JSON class. Within that, we have a serialize. Now, I'll use the serialize pretty. In this pretty, I'll forward the object, which is called as a ACC list. ACC list. Now, whatever the output is there, let me store that output into the string. Now let's say that this is a JS1 equal to this. Now I'm going to print the value here, system.debug, which is the Apex format here. Apex format. Now the Apex format is ACC list. Now JSON format. I'll print the JSON format here. JSON format, I'll print it JS1. Now, let me execute this. Execute the highlighted one. Now, when I use the JSON class, within the JSON class, I have used the predefined serialize method. When I use it, what is happening along with the name? Actually, I'm querying the data of name, phone, industry. I'm just querying the name, phone, industry. That's it. Right? So whatever the name, phone, industry is there, only these details I'm querying it. But what is happening along with this, I'm getting the few more details of attributes like a type equal to account, URL it is giving, right? ID it is giving. But this is unnecessary data which I do not need it. Which I do not need the attributes. I do not need the attributes of type equal to account. I do not need the URL. Right? This data is not required. This data is not required. Directly send the name, phone, industry. Why do I need every record? It is collecting the type and URL. If you observe here, every record, first is a new del, right? New del is also collecting the attributes. Now WB is also collecting the attributes. Now iterable batch is also collecting the attributes. That means every record I have a attributes, which is unnecessary information where it does not require for the third-party system, does not require the third-party system. Now, I do not want to send this data. Only I wanted to send the data of name, phone, industry. Why should we be sending the attribute type, URL, and ID? I do not need it. Basically, I do not need all these attributes. Now, in that case, I wanted to send only the proper JSON format. Now, if you wanted to send the proper JSON format, then what we have to do is we have to go with the JSON generator. So the usage of this is the system.JSONGenerator class is provided to enable the generation of a standard JSON encoded content. That means instead of sending a unnecessary data, only send the JSON encoded content and gives you more control over the structure of JSON. Right? So for example, we have a lot of methods in the JSON generator. Now, before going to that, let me give you one example here. Let's assume that you are receiving this data. You are receiving name, phone, industry to the Salesforce. You are receiving these details. This is a normal. Assume that normal data you are receiving it. You are not receiving the JSON structure here. You are receiving normal name, phone, industry. Now you are pushing that data to the Salesforce. After pushing the data into the Salesforce, what you will do is you will create an account. Once the account is created, then you wanted to send the response back to the system. You wanted to send the response back to the other system. From the other system, you are receiving the data and you are creating the account in Salesforce. And once the account is created, then you wanted to send the data to the third-party system. If you have this kind of a scenario, do not go for a JSON class. Do not go for JSON class. Go for a JSON generator. Go for a JSON generator class where you will be receiving the data from the third-party system. Once some action is performed in the Salesforce, we wanted to send the data back to the other system saying that record is created successfully and this is the ID and the code is 200 or 201. 200 or 201. So if you have this kind of a scenario, then go for a JSON generator class. Now inside the JSON generator class, we have so many methods are available. We have so many methods are available. Now let me show you those methods. If you go to the JSON, now just click on this link. I'll give you this link. I'm pasting this link in the chat. Now, JSON generator method, there are so many methods are there. There are so many methods are there. But if you observe this method, if you observe the methods, we have so many methods are there. But if you observe it, the starting of the JSON generator methods are bright. The starting of the method names are, most of the method names are bright. Most of the method names are bright. So it starts with the bright. That means you are building a JSON within the Salesforce. You are building the JSON within the Salesforce. Write Boolean, write date field, write array, write object field name, write ID, write field, write null, number, write number, right? So everything it starts with a write string, write start array, right? Write time, write time field. So most of the methods in the JSON generator starts with the write keyword. It starts with write keyword. What is the purpose of most of the classes has a write? Most of the methods are having the write keyword. The purpose is that whenever once we perform some updates in the Salesforce, we wanted to send some custom JSON script, JSON format to the third-party system. We wanted to build the custom JSON format. Now, account does not have a status. Account does not have a code. Account does not have a message. I cannot get this JSON method, whatever this JSON format is there, this format, we need to build it. That means developer has to build it this. This we will not get this data from the object. Whatever this output is there, this is the response. We are sending the response to the third-party system. This is the request. We are getting it from the third-party system. When we are sending the response, we have to send the response status equal to success or a failure, whether the account is created perfectly fine or not. Because the third-party system wants to know that whether the account is created in the Salesforce or not. So it has to be sent the status equal to success, ID equal to some ID, and the message equal to account created successfully, or if you wanted to place any other message. Now code equal to 201. That means it is processed perfectly. It is processed perfectly. Now, if you want to build this, you need to build this kind of a JSON structure, because this JSON structure, you need to send it to the third-party system. So in order to build this JSON script, JSON format, then you need to use the JSON generator. Now, whenever you have this kind of a scenario, go for a JSON generator class. JSON generator class. In the JSON generator class, you have so many predefined method, and most of the predefined methods are starts with the write keyword. So many methods are starts with write keyword. Now, those all details you can see that. Now, whenever you wanted to implement a JSON generator, you need to follow 3 steps. Whenever you wanted to build a JSON generator in the Salesforce, whenever you wanted to build a JSON generator in Salesforce, you need to follow 3 steps. The 3 steps are: create a JSON generator. How you will create a JSON generator? You will create a JSON generator. I'll show you that. Step 1 is you need to create a JSON generator. Step 2 is you need to start writing the JSON. You need to start writing the JSON. Third step is you need to generate the file. First, you build the JSON, write the content in JSON, and then generate the file. Now, how you are going to do these 3 steps? First step is step 1 is system.JSONGenerator JS equal to JSON.createGenerator. And then in the bracket, you need to specify true. That means it is a pretty. True is here, true is nothing but a pretty. If you want to make it as a pretty format or a suppress, you need to specify that JSON creator of true. Now system.JSONGenerator JS equal to JSON.createGenerator of true. Now step 2 is JS.WriteStartObject and JS.WriteEndObject. In step 2, you have 2 commands. One is WriteStartObject, WriteEndObject. Whatever the logic you wanted to write in this JSON generator, everything you have to write in between this. In between this start and end, you need to write the logic. In between this, you need to write the logic of anything that you wanted to write it. So you need to implement any logic between the start and end. You cannot write the logic outside of the end. If you write a logic outside of the end, this does not work. JSON generator logic does not work. And that is the second step. That is the start writing it and then end the JSON. The third step is where you need to generate a file. In order to generate a file, you are initializing the file here. You are initializing or you are creating the object for JSON generator. Now take that same name of that object dot get as a string. That means you are generating the file. Get as a string is nothing but generating the file. Get as string is nothing but generating the file. Now you are generating the file. So these 3 steps are important whenever you are implementing a JSON generator. This is the file. This is the 3 steps you need to follow. So there is a difference here. JSON classes, you do not have any of this step. Whenever you are going for a JSON class, you do not have any kind of a format. You do not have any kind of a format. But when you are going for JSON generator, when you are going for a JSON generator class, here we have a JSON generator class. Whenever you are going for a JSON generator class, you need to follow certain steps because this is used for the complex scenarios, complex JSON structure. So what is the complex JSON structure here? Whenever you receive the data, you need to perform certain action in Salesforce. After performing it, you need to send some custom JSON format to the third-party system. So if you want that kind of a scenario to be implemented in the Salesforce, then you have to go for a JSON generator. In the JSON generator, you need to follow the 3 steps. So step 1 is you need to create a JSON generator. Create a JSON generator. Step 2 is you need to start writing the JSON. And once you are done with writing the JSON, you need to end the JSON. End the JSON. So whatever you write in between the start and end, only that lines will be considered while generating the file. Step 3 is where you need to generate the file. Now, these are the 3 steps. Now, how do you create a generator? Basically, you need to create an object. Now, how do you create an object? System.JSONGenerator equal to specify the name of the object here, JS equal to, let's say JSON dot. This side, it will be a create generator. Now, inside this, you will give true. This is how you create a JSON generator. Create a generator and store that into the JSON generator. And then step 2 is you will use this object name And here for this object, say that write start object, right? Start object. And then once you are done with this, let's say JS dot write end object, end object. Now you have this keywords in these predefined methods in the URL which I have shown. So here it says that write end object, right? So there is a start object also, write a start object. So write a start object is nothing but write the statement, write the string marker of the JSON object. That means start object is nothing but where it is starting the curly braces. Where it is start object is nothing but where it is start building the curly braces. Write end object is nothing but it is ending the this object. So it is end curly. So start curly is called as a write start object. Start curly is called as a write start object. And end one is called as end curly is called as a write end object. Write end object. And step 3 is generate the file. So in order to generate the file, how do you do that? You just use the object JS dot. Here we have a some method which is called as a get as a string. Get as string. This is the predefined method and store the result into the string. String equal to result. String result equal to JS dot get as a string. Get as a string. Now, whatever the result is there, that result is stored in the here in this format. Now, get as a string. What is this get as a string? You can find it here. So, get as a string. That means return the generated JSON content. Return the generated JSON content. It returns the JSON content. Now, these three steps are very important. Now we will see how to do this, how to implement a JSON generator practically in the Salesforce. We will see that tomorrow. We will see that tomorrow. Now this is the 2 trial head method, trial head links. Practice this trial head links. Now let me stop.